hello and welcome back. I have reset my OBS and hopefully this works better now. Welcome back, Yeah,
You see me
I
moving?
think we should be good. We'll
yeah,
see.
I think I'm
Am I being held
I'm
hostage?
gonna be keeping a lot of my attention over on the bottom just to make sure everything's okay. But we are gonna start in the Legacy Gold Conference. I have the gold background and we're gonna swap to that. Yeah.
So I'll just start off by saying I'm very much of the opinion that Legacy is looking very awesome just because I think there's a equal amount of standout teams in every single conference. I don't think that there's one conference that stands tall above the others as the most stacked. I think every single conference has like some interesting storylines, some powerful looking teams, and I just think that there's going to be enough entertainment, enough stuff to look out for in each one of them. So, hot
Agreed.
takes, I guess.
Every conference is looking
do you guys
very
think?
predictable, with only a few good teams per conference. Well, it should be very easy to predict all the right teams, as I'm sure we'll soon demonstrate.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm sure it's so early, right? It's so early to say anything with any kind of confidence.
Like Legacy is
But it's
interesting
right.
because I don't see a particularly stacked Legacy conference. I think they're all I actually think it's kind of balanced for the most part. Like there are some outstanding teams that look really good, but I mean but there's a few of them in the three conferences. I'm going to switch over. We can look at the matches, of course. Yeah. So starting out here in gold, we have Always Top Deck Lethal versus Foolish Madmen. This is Justin's team. Why don't you go ahead and run down kind of who's playing who, give some thoughts, and maybe we can give some predictions on this one.
Yeah, so I believe I'm contractually obligated by the Diamond Gem Man himself to say that Foolish Madman was derived from the Wu-Tang name generator, which he takes great pride in his editing skills to put a few pieces of text for each of our names over a Wu-Tang logo and thinks it's very funny. You can tell how much I agree. So anyways, thanks, Diamond, for doing that. We have in the one seeds clash of the year of Dardar Binks against Nails. So Dardar found Hero pretty easy last season, but I don't think he ever faced a one seed quite as good as Nails. So that one may be a quite stern test early. Nails, of course, finished top 200 multiple times, where Dardar was one game off becoming a Grandmaster. So no weak players there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And in the two seed,
that was in the last Masters Tour, right?
No, second to last. Masters Tour Montreal.
Oh, that's right.
He started 6-0 in that, and knocked off one of the French GMs, and what's his name? The retiring ETC. He had Bomb Warrior and Salt EH, but beat ETC with the original Flat Oozer lineup.
That lineup did really well in that tournament.
Which was pretty epic. It was before anyone knew about it. Yeah, he was 2-0 against Grandmasters. Just couldn't beat anyone else. Anyways, I digress. So that'll be interesting, the one. Yours truly in the two going up against T-Stew. I don't know him all that well, but hopefully I don't have to, because the game will be pretty easy, right? And then our 3 and 4 seed played together in TESPA. They haven't played THL together, but they got to TESPA playoffs in a pretty stacked East. So I have confidence in them. Jimbo especially is coming back to the game after a long break, so I think he's pretty under PR'd compared to his playing ability. He just didn't have enough finishes under the new system to, like, his third finish was way below the others because he just hadn't played many seasons. So I think he should do pretty well this week in the season. And then lastly, we have, of course, the team captain himself, Diamond, rounding out it.
Yeah, I know Diamond didn't have his best season in the four seed last season, but then I think I would think he would do really well in the 5. I feel like he's at 185 PR. He's really strong there. So
Diamond is a solid player. I think he just had the misfortune of playing the 4 seed in a season that was stacked in the 4 seed in particular. Like, that was the thing about last season. There were a lot of people who we were kind of like, wow, how is this person in the 4 seed?
Right. It seems like
So-
a lot of teams will go for like they spend all their points in the top and then they have like a 50 PR at the bottom. And so like I think Diamond could do really well against those 50 PR people. You could just crush them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Diamond's more known obviously for captaining, but that doesn't mean he can't play some damn good Hearthstone, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I think this one is actually going to be a really close match, though. I think on paper, everything about this tells me this is going to come down to the very last match. My predictions are going to be that the Foolish Madmen take this one 3-2. I'm going to say. I'm going to say. I got to give the slight edge to Nails in the 1. I know Dardar is amazing, but I know a bit more about Nails, and I think he's going to really excel in the 1 seed this season. I'm definitely going to give it to Justin in the 2. Honestly, you being in the 2 is kind of absurd. Like, if we're being honest with ourselves, like, that is like, it's a rare sight when you get 2 550 plus PR, 550 PR players in the 1 and 2. Like, that's just nuts.
Or teaming with him certainly makes my season a little easier.
No disagreements there. But I think Jester, or sorry, no, I think Automated Button is going to take the match over Jester. I think Matty Ebbs is going to win over Jimbo. I think Matty's one of the strongest 4 seeds in THL personally. And I think Diamond is going to take it over Shunsui. So yeah, 3-2 Foolish Madmen.
Okay, well,
What about the rest?
permit me to disagree because you gave too many wins to ATL.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Yes. Oh, I mean, you're free to think that. As Feesh can confirm, I rarely, if ever, go for a 5-0
That is true.
on any like situation.
Yeah, I mean, 5-0s don't happen very often, except
They don't.
where this match is concerned.
Exactly.
King, of course. But yeah, it'll be a close one. Maybe, maybe not. I have no clue.
John,
Just
what
felt
about
like a
you?
match.
You be
I
the
think
deciding vote here.
I think Foolish is going to win. I think Diamond's captainship. I've captain,
Mhm.
and I think that advantage in the 5, and then in the 1 and 2 as well. I think Dardar's probably above 550, and you just can't see it. So I think they're going to take it 3-2.
Come on, do you think
we
a
don't-
jester can beat a bunch of clowns like the Foolish Madmen? That's ridiculous.
I don't know. I think it could be close. I think it could be close.
I mean, ATL, I'm very curious to see how they do this season just because they've gone through such a massive roster change, their only returning players are Matty Ebbs and Shunsui in the 4 and the 5, respectively. And Nails is definitely going to be a worthy replacement for Ron Mexico in the 1. But whether or not T-Stew and Jester can pick up from where A2 Battleship and Free Hong Kong left off, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I know A2 fairly well. Those are tough shoes to fill.
Exactly. I mean, the fact that he was a 3 in Legacy last season at all is still like what truly boggles me. But really good player is really good.
Well, move on to another match.
All right,
before
let's
we
move on to the
spend,
next match, though.
As much as I could talk about my team for all day.
Well, so we have one more match we're going to talk about with regard to gold, and that is going to be
Yeah, I figured that we should
Defias
we should
Brotherhood versus
no,
Stubbs
we
of
should
Prey.
at least run down the seeds. Like, we don't have to give a lot of thoughts, but I figured that we should, mention who's
Right.
the teams that are playing each other. And the match that I want to go over for us is the F2L Red match versus Pod People.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
Don't mind
Yeah.
me. I'm trying to do I'm doing troubleshooting in the background, trying to figure out why I'm lagging so much. I think my laptop's just really hot, dude.
No problem. Well, let's quickly talk about F2L Red because this is a pretty versus Pod People. So on the left, we have F2L Red, who are bringing in a very different roster this time around, a very top-heavy roster in the 1, 2, 3, but very close in PR. Bottomed out by the Rotted Zombie, a very talented Wild player, and Slad as well, also known for Wild series, versus Pod People, who are coming back exactly the same, minus the 5 seed. So I think both of these teams are looking pretty good. I think Pod People, they had a good run last season, almost taking down HSA, and now F2, and then you have F2L Red, who, I'm very curious to see how Marty B and Myanodon are going to perform in the 1-2. Myanodon has always been a pretty solid 2 seed. Marty has not played in the 1 seed before, though, so I'm curious to see how that goes. What do you guys think about this match?
I think that Rabobson in the 3 seed is kind of mind blowing. I'm
Yes,
not sure how that happened, but he just won the mini tournament a couple weeks ago.
he did.
So I think that he has to be a clear favorite to win nearly every match in the 3 seed. So I guess it maybe comes down to me is can Pod People pick up the wins elsewhere?
Right. What's kind of funny is that Rabobson has actually played in the 3 seed multiple times in between both Legacy and Hero, which I find astounding. But
I
yeah,
mean,
him in the 3 seed. Honestly, what I think is nice about this roster is that the 1 through 3, I think they could easily really thrive. They're definitely, like, on paper, they look pretty solid. I think the only question for me is how is the 1 seed gonna perform? Because all 3 of these guys are solid players, but none of them are known for really excelling in the 1 seed. So that's where, you know, like that big question mark for me is. But other than that, I think they look really good. Pod People, um, just not much has really changed from last season. So I feel like their talent kind of speaks for themselves. Justin, what about you?
Marty B went 2-5 in the 2 most of the season last year in Hero, so stepping up to the 1 after that showing may be a bit of a rust adjustment, especially with our hat here, who will not give him any much room to work with. So I can only see that match going one way. Then 2 seeds, we have someone who I don't know, Zeratio, against Myanodon. I kid. But I'd have to back my boy Mayan on that one. And then the 3 seed, Rebob he was on 3 most of the last season of the Legacy as well. He went 3-5. Of course, he did win the recent constructed tournament, and he was comeback player in the year in Hero. But you can't be comeback player if you don't have a bad season at some point. So people are talking about Rebob in the 3 is nuts. Like, he certainly has the potential, but he also has the potential to have a poor season. But I think he has this one over Wicked Good here this week, certainly just based on PR difference and amount Rebob has been putting in the game recently. I can't say I know much about Rod Zombie or Starlax. I believe Starlax went 6-4 last year in the 4, so given the PR difference, I'd probably lean towards him. And then lastly, 2 people that I couldn't find much info on, Swaybe and Slad. So I'd just go pure PR, assume that FTL pick their 5 seed wisely and take Slad. So overall, I think it's going to be 3-2 the way of FTL F2L Red. But see it going either way, especially those ones in the middle there where you have some good pair of players on each side.
I am going to go slightly different because as much as I love F2L Red and as much as Marty B has been my buddy, my pal the past 2 seasons, I have to bet against him, against Ridiculous Hat. I'm going to say Zeratio takes it over Myanodon, Rabobson takes it over Wicked Good, Starlax takes it over the Rotted Zombie, and Slad does take it over Swaybe. So only one difference between my pick and yours. HeatShock, what about you?
Oh, well, I am on a team with Hat right now, and he is on top of stuff, I feel. So I think I have to give it to him in the 1 for sure. And I think I have to give it to Rabobson in the 3 and Starlax in the 4. And I don't know much about the other ones. I know Swaybe was co-oping on stream with Hat.
Yep.
So she could be dangerous. I'm going to say Pod People take it 3-2.
Swaybe is actually a very solid Battlegrounds player for those curious. So this is her first time playing in like a standard series, but she has been playing in Battlegrounds this season.
Sway is on my Sway is actually on my it's on my VG. Been doing really well.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a solid player. I think she's going to be a great addition to THL. Yeah, I think this match is going to be close, but I will say you are definitely right. Ridiculous Hat is on top of things. He is he's commissioner for good reason. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way.
He has been helping out.
I'm sure he's like I'm sure like pod people are not to be underestimated for many reasons. And then I guess just to quickly go over, we've got the other two matches that are going on this week are uh Defias Brotherhood versus Stubbs of Prey, which is both pretty well established teams, both coming in with mostly changed rosters from last season, and both kind of looking for something to prove here. I mean, Defias had a great run last season and found themselves losing in the first round of playoffs despite finishing first in red, and then Stubbs of Prey. Kind of like got close to playoffs, but didn't quite get there at the end. And now they're a very different team from before. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, and then the other team, the other match, excuse me, is Golden Common, by the way, versus Standard THL Degenerates, which is, of course, same team as the drop table team from last season versus a team of players that are all completely new to Legacy except for Quaz. But all pretty recognizable names if you
I thought Blue Jay was returning.
follow our style. Who?
I thought Blue Jay was returning.
No, I'm talking about standard THL.
Oh, standard THL
Degenerates.
Degenerates. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking of Stubbs.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not on top of things. Get this. There we go. Golden Common Mat, which is drop table teams from last season.
Yeah. With standard THL Degenerates, I'm looking forward to seeing how they do just because of, again, aside from Quaz, everybody is new. Though, funny enough, Electric Sheep City has been playing in Wild and Corden has been playing in Pro, so they're not like a completely new team to THL itself. So that really covers Gold. Is there anything anybody wants to add before we move on to the next conference?
No, let's go conference. It's going to
All
be
right.
pretty free. Let's keep it moving because
DoctorFeesh, which conference are we going to... Oh, yep, of course. DoctorFeesh, which conference will we be talking about next?
Red.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, DoctorFeesh, which is the first match we're going to be talking about. Well, first of all, so Red's got a bunch of notable teams, a bunch of teams that have been around for a while, a few new teams, and then of course the team that I think is probably one of the teams to watch out for the most this season. Prep is for Rogue, not Pilots. So that's one I think is a much sought after team. To me, the two most standout teams from this conference are Prep and then Swallows that follows, because that has the lethal combination of Avi in the 1 and Lotus Knight in the 2. So I'm curious to see how that goes.
Bill Snyder.
What about with you guys? Any teams that in particular that stand out other than those, or?
I always like looking at which people are like 3 and 4 seeds in some formats and 1 and 2s in the other, because how does that happen?
Right.
And Bill Snyder, I think, is someone who hasn't played Legacy in quite a few seasons, but has meanwhile been getting a lot better at the game, and was a 1 seed last season on the championship winning Wild Aces in Pro. It's like 150 more. So again, a steep discount to have him in the 3 seed. And I don't know the story behind it for Prep as for Rogues Not Pilots, but Brushy Tuna as well in the 4 is very undercosted compared to him in Hero. So.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Brushy hasn't really played much. Like for the past few seasons, Brushy has mainly played in Pro as opposed to Standard, as opposed to like Legacy or Hero. So that's probably why. But I think what you end up happening is like some people will do much better in one series over the other. Some people will find their stride after they've really like had a pretty established PR. You know, more in the example that you gave for Bill Snyder, for instance, but Bill's also kind of had like a pretty fluctuating PR. Like he's 390. He's had it a bit higher. He's played in like the 2. He's played in the 3, 4. It's just kind of sometimes that can just depend more on your team's overall PR makeup.
Yeah, I know. ton of respect for Bill. He's on my pro team, so definitely someone to watch out for in the 3.
The thing that
100%.
really jumps out to me is
Um,
Murgle Reborn. When you have someone like Dabs with 4,100 career earnings and Masters Tour winnings in the 2, gonna rock the 2 slot of that conference quite a bit. Never mind adding G-Kick and Shugabaka, who feels like I've been 5 seeds forever. Finally, probably getting their PR up to where it should be, maybe at the end of the season. But I expect them to have pretty easy smurfing for a lot of the season as well.
I mean, I'm very surprised that we have at least 3 teams this season that have 1 and 2 seeds, both with 550 PR or more. It's kind of insane. But I think you're right. I think like for Murgle, if Debs and G-Kick and Chewbacca really like hold their own in those seeds, this team could be pretty unstoppable, all things considered.
Anyways, is there any particular matchups we want to talk about?
Yes, Feesh, which matchup do we want? Are we going to discuss in more detail first?
I wanted to look at, I think, Chaos Theories versus Team Trees. Then that one just.
All right, so this one, Chaos Theory, of course, Isocles team, coming back with a mostly new team, I think. I think Solo Jazz is subbing for Notorious GHP, right? Or is it somebody else?
Yes, he's subbing for GHP, I believe.
Never mind. So they only have 2 new additions, that being Amage 10 and Kotomora. And Solo Jazz is subbing in for GHP for this week against Team Trees, which is a somewhat recognizable team. I recognize Black Swan, Vampire Nighthawk, and Trito 2, but I know nothing about Karate Dum or Two Fly. So I'm probably leaning a bit more towards Chaos Theory, just knowing the lineup. What do you guys think?
I don't hardly know anyone here. I know Solo Jazz is good, and I work with him on VS, so I kind of have to give him some more credit there as a friend there. And I ran into Isocles I'm playing in Hero this week, and I've run into him 3 times last night in top 200 ladder. So I know he's kind of on fire in this meta.
Yeah.
So I feel like that with knowing those 2, I have to lean towards Chaos Theory, but not knowing the rest of the people, I could be pretty off.
If Kodomora could, don't know them new to the format, if they turn out to be being pretty good, this could be a real team of contenders. Chaos Theory didn't do all that well last season. They went 3-5, but looked like they used that opportunity to just bulk up in PR. I think 3 of their players are playing up a seed compared to where they played, or down a seed rather, compared to where they played last year. Maj went 4-4 in the 1. And Isocles went 4-4 in the 2. Risen went 4-4 in the 3. All 3 of them playing it down the seed compared to last year or last season. I'd imagine they'll do quite well, and especially if they have people like Soul Jazz subbing for them at times. I don't know Notorious GHP, but could
he's,
be quite
he's a solid player. He's the one person who defeated me in Legacy last season. So I give the man massive props for ending my reign of terror, as I would say. But yeah, no, I think Chaos Theory, like, they don't have any like big like 500 plus PR 1 or 2 seats, but they don't necessarily need it with the caliber of players they have in the 1 through 4.
Yeah, Isocles is 550 in Hero, somehow in the 3 seed. This week playing pro against HeatShock.
I'm playing Hero, I think, right?
Hero.
No, you are talking about Hero. That is correct.
Okay. Yeah, my bad.
In Hero, Isocles is the 1 seed for Dad Legend. And here he's like the 3 seed, and it's obviously a pretty big PR difference. So make of that what you will, I suppose.
I think I can see a lot of weeks where Chaos Theory just wins in the 2, 3, and 4 easily. And with that happening, it's really hard to find a win for the opponents.
Yeah. I mean, I think they've got, I think they're looking really good, especially Risen in the 4 is ridiculous. That man is very good.
With a name that I can mispronounce, like Team Triss, I have to hold out some hope that they'll do well this season.
Yeah,
clearly Triss needs to sub for them.
Yes, then they'd gain much more power.
Also, the Black Swan and Vampire Nighthawk, I guess, have been around at some points, and yeah, they're pretty good players. I think Vampire's well under PR'd, probably for how good they are. From what I've heard.
We shall see.
Yep, and I think the last one I want to talk about from here is the Prep is for Rogues match. We're gonna have to be going a bit faster through these.
No, that's fine. I mean, I think Prep is going to be one of the most like crazy teams. I mean, you've got Fuel in the 1, Ron Mexico in the 2, Buse in the 3. Like that's just a pretty stacked top 3, especially when you consider like Buse in the 3 is almost 500 PR. That is nuts. And then to add to the craziness, you have Brushy Tuna in the 4, which, as Justin said, is like pretty nuts. And then Saku to round them off in the 5. Like,
yeah, it's a really good team. I'm teammates with Ron, and he's very, very good. I have a lot of fun with him. But Hunter did just get nerfed, and Ron is a Hunter main, so I have to see how he recovers from that. I think that'll be his biggest challenge.
He still has Warrior though.
Yeah, he did play a lot of Highlander Hunter though.
Interesting. Yeah, and then on the other side we have Sir Finley Squires, who I'm very curious about this team.
Yeah.
Rescue Wabbit in the 1, a fairly up and coming player, who has, he's very much proven himself. I would say, he was on F2L last season in Pro, still is on them this season. So he's definitely shown he can compete with the bigger players. Ariana 20 is in the 2, formerly Catman. I'm not sure what happened that her PR is now at 416, because like when she ended 2 seasons ago, I think it was close to 550, but either way, her in the 2 seed is nuts.
Maybe did they just take her old information, or did she like a brand new THL type thing?
I thought she requested that they like transfer over her info, so that's why I wasn't sure. But
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, regardless, I know she's going to be really good in the 2 seed. That goes without saying. Whether or not she beats Ron Mexico is a separate issue. And then I've heard a little bit about Hickett, but MPV and Direless I know nothing about.
Yeah, MPV I don't know a lot about. Yeah, same kind of like the bottom 3. I don't know a lot. I've heard Direless is pretty good. This team right now, I think that Ariana 20 will probably end up in the 1 seed by the end of the season. Just by how good they are.
We'll see.
But I'm not 100% sure. And Prep is for Rogues is an amazing team. They have a low PR value, a 5 seed in Saku, and they have Brushy Tuna, who's well under PR'd, for his actual skill level. And then you got three solid players. Use in the 3 is gross.
This is just a really good looking team.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see if they're going to live up to all the hype that they're bringing themselves. And then as for the last 2 matches, we've got Swallows That Follows versus Ticketus Punchers, which, like I said, Swallows That Follows I think are like one of the most like intimidating teams here. You've got obviously in the 1, Lotus Knight in the 2, Bill Snyder in the 3, Lemur in the 4, and then the return of Killer Veebs in the 5. So these are all very well established players, all of whom we know have had some form of success in THL. Yeah, this is the team to watch out for as far as I'm concerned. And then Ticketus Punchers is all players I haven't heard of outside of Cherub. So yeah, I'm also concerned just by their PR makeup, because even though PR isn't everything, I'm not sure what to expect from these guys who are starting off with like, almost 380 PR, and then having to play against people with almost 200 PR more than that.
I'm not sure how this is going to go. This is a lot of PR left on the table.
Ticketus is a meme card in Constructed. Maybe they just decided to make a meme team.
No. Wow. Ticketus is not a meme. We're not going there.
No, we're not. Yeah, I'm not arguing about my love for Control Warlock.
I played it a little bit last night. It seems like it's better with Demon Hunter gone. So
yeah,
it is.
It wasn't 80-20 with Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
All right.
I think the problem is like you kind of had to accept the fact that you were never going to make like a consistent combo like philosophy deck around it.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's certainly a card that can have a massive impact against a lot of different decks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I played the philosophy last night and I milled 10 cards.
I mean, it's
Pretty
good.
ATC
It's-
Warrior needs those combo pieces.
It's true. I mean, there's
Okay.
a lot of decks that you can really hurt by milling cards, like ETC Warriors one, any Cthulhu deck, for instance. Just milling cards can just be so impactful, more so than anybody might realize.
Yeah.
So, and then the fourth match of this one is of this conference is
It's Dirty Mike
Where
and the
is it?
Boys versus
versus Murgle
Murgle
Reborn. So Dirty Mike and the Boys is this, same roster as last season, except they replaced Fuel with Khazgar, which is not really much of a downgrade in my opinion. Khazgar seems like he's a pretty good player.
Dr. Khazgar. Good player.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, I feel like it's not really a reflect. If you're gonna like kind of think, oh, they're less good now that they replaced Fuel. Fuel has one of the highest PRs out of anybody in Legacy, so it's kind of hard to beat.
Yeah.
But
Fuel's an insane player.
Not hard
then
to
you've
beat
got-
Astral Frog as well last season.
Yeah,
if you
Astral
can
was good.
carry that form into this season, that'd be quite impressive. But
100%.
the rest of the team may have some work to do to keep up with him.
I mean, Murgle Reborn will be a great test week 1 because you got, like we said, Adamos and Dabs in the 1-2, Debs in the 3, G-Kick in the 4, and Chewbacca in the 5. This team looks very ready to take on the season.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there's maybe all 5 of, or at least 4 of the 5, the strongest seeds in their conference in playing in this match. Unfortunately, I think most of them are for Murgle.
Yes.
So I can only see the result going one way.
No, I understand. It's
Gotcha.
like,
Understand.
Chewbacca.
I think it's gonna be
I'm assuming you're
close.
talking about Chewbacca, G-Kick, Astral Frog,
And
Dabs, right?
Yes, exactly those 4.
Boom! That's right.
And
I mean, how many people have 11-star gamers in their 4 and 5 seeds in their teams? Murgle does.
yeah, for
Wait,
sure.
Shoe has 11 stars?
Okay, I might be incorrect about that, but at least G-Kick does.
Yeah,
G-Kick
yeah,
does. I
G-Kick's
think
an insane-
Chewbacca doesn't, though. I love the guy, but I gotta,
Probably
gotta be
10-star
corrective and
game.
accurate on this show. No
Sure.
fake news.
I was talking to Dabs like 2 or 3 hours ago, and he was up there in Legend, and he seemed to know what was going on. So I have pretty high expectations for them.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Him in the 2 is just gross. I'm just gonna leave it
Great.
at that.
Yeah.
Great.
Like, there's a lot of gross 2 seeds coming out here. Justin.
Yeah. Wait till we get to the next con.
Oh, yeah. Now we're moving on to my personal favorite, Silver Conference.
Silver Conference.
That's because you're in it.
Yeah, that's because
How did you know?
That's both of us. We're both in this conference. Me and JR.
Is it your favorite too, HeatShock?
Well, I don't. It's hard to pick a favorite because I'm not in any of them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They're all good.
he gets
I
off easy on
definitely
this.
There is a very exciting match in this one with Base versus FBM2. I think that's crazy.
Yes.
And I
Oh,
We
think
want
God,
to just
I
get
can't wait for
so.
that.
Yeah, do we want to just
that
get
match
right
is
into
gonna
that one?
be
Yeah.
something.
Do we want to go right? Well, why don't we start?
Let's start with
why
Flame
don't we
Pimps versus
start with?
Hearthstone Academy. Let's start
Oh.
with that one.
Okay, we can start Hearthstone Academy.
I mean this one is Flame Pimps is basically, as I like to make the joke,
Oh, there has been
half of
has been
due
a
process and trying to make a legacy team.
Yeah.
There's a result?
in the Flame Pimps versus Hearthstone Academy match.
Oh
There is a
wow,
result.
Didal's 3-0
Didal
Sharkbait.
3-0 shark bait. 3-0
Oof.
shark bait. That is
Unfortunate.
That's a
Sharkbait.
really good result because Sharkbait has been playing very well in the last
Yeah.
couple, like dating back to last season, played very well.
There goes my fantasy season.
Yeah.
I think
I think
no,
Quas is gonna
I
be
know,
more
I
upset than any of
picked
you.
no, my fantasy's still intact in silver.
We'll see.
None of our team's games have been played yet. So
Anyway,
yeah,
Flame Pimps is of course made up of FBM2, Taco Cat, Goose, Boolean, and Didal TF1. FBM2, former member of my pro team Due Process, and Goose and Boolean, still current members of Due Process. So I'm kind of rooting for these guys, but I'm a little sad that our teams have to face each other.
Yeah.
And then we have Hearthstone Academy, who at this point I don't even know if there's anything that needs to be said about them, considering their track record, considering how much I mean, we spent pretty much at least half of the anniversary special talking about Hearthstone Academy.
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident in that. So
Yeah, it didn't help that we had,
oh no, it was
and
great.
it
But
was
like,
amazing.
you
Oh, I
know,
love that for sure.
it was great. But like Hearthstone Academy at this point, like there's a lot I'd love to say about them.
Yeah.
But I think it also goes without saying that, they're just really good and you don't need to hype them up. They just
For sure.
hype themselves up like well enough.
Yeah.
Especially when
I
the
mean,
roster themselves didn't change outside of Sharkbait coming in for Dwyn.
though that's a pretty big change. Someone going 10-1 in the 5.
You're
Sharkbait already
not
had
you're not
many
wrong.
losses. In the
Yeah.
hour we've been on air right now, Sharkbait has as many losses as Doohan did all last season.
That's
Uh,
true.
And Doohan's only
so-
loss was in
Well, the way
was in
I
the
choose to look
semis.
at it is that, look, obviously Hearthstone Academy could attribute a lot of its earlier success due to the fact that Based and DeWin went undefeated for a majority of the season. But you could also make the argument that Ghost, Booze, and Mako did decently enough on their end that everybody really pulled their weight.
Yeah.
And everybody has shown to be very good in the past. So I still see a lot of I still think like Hearthstone Academy is not a team to be underestimated.
Oh no. But they're just not the runaway favorites out of silver.
Yeah.
I mean, Ghost went 5-6, Booze went 6-5, Mako went 5-6. So certainly solid performances when you're getting carried at the top and the bottom by two near unbeatables, but maybe a little tougher this semester or this season,
Right,
rather,
sure.
with
Well, the way I see it,
only
like,
one of those unbeatables returning, and with the format getting a bit
Right.
stronger.
Yeah.
But still, I wouldn't.
they-
I
they
agree
were
with you. I
absolute-
wouldn't write a mile off.
no, I was just gonna say I just think that they were still doing well enough that they
Yeah.
would have probably made playoffs.
They
The
would've.
reason why they were like undefeated the whole season was obviously because they had two players going undefeated the whole regular season.
Yeah,
That part is obvious. But yeah, I think Hearthstone Academy is going to win this one, but Flame Pimps could really end up pulling off a big upset and starting off Hearthstone Academy with a loss.
Mhm.
Very different from last season, so we shall
Yeah.
see.
Sure. Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's-
Base has continuously been improving over the past several seasons and just like been at the top of the crossover stats and killing it. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like, is she ever going to stop getting better? Is there a
Doubt
cap
it.
to that?
I
But
doubt it.
At the same time, FBM2 is one of the best players last season, and I know him personally. He's very good and
Hmm.
passionate about stats, and the deck that he played the most did not get nerfed. So definitely a very scary player.
FBM2 is a rogue master, and you know he's going to be enjoying the hell out of that class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in regards to Based, I do think that's a very good point. Like, she has just consistently improved and really shown that she's really shown over the last few seasons that her being at 550 PR is no fluke. It is absolutely just the result of her hard work, her efforts, and just finding a way to succeed in not just Legacy, but also Hero as well as Wild too.
Mhm.
So yeah, talk about a journey this player has gone on. I would
Yeah.
honestly probably equate her to Honest Zabe, where he started off being like in a pretty good place, but then just shot up in like PR and in like overall stature as he started to
Mhm.
become a better player overall. And like now Zabe is somebody that a lot of people recognize because of some of like how often he performs really well in ladder.
Mhm.
One shout I do want to give, as much as Hearthstone Academy is good, I think Flame Pimps might honestly be just as strong, if not stronger on paper. You talked about Reggie, but Taco Cat finished 36th on the Americas servers in last month in November.
Damn,
He's in the
wow.
two.
I did not
And
know
then
that.
we have Goose, who went I think 7-3 or 8-3 last season in pro in the
I
one seed for the
think
majority
it was
of that.
8-3, yeah.
3, and he's in the 3 in this. So that's a very strong 1-2-3. Obviously, you can see visually from the PRs just after that falls off a bit, but
Yeah,
they're going to be challenging quite a number.
Boolean in the 4, like he's still going to be pretty solid. His
Yeah.
PR should be much higher, really. So,
Mhm.
like,
Right, but
I don't
he's
think he
also
should.
a 2-star Mako who's kind of crazy in the 4. So
That one actually, I could see being very close.
really,
Yeah.
I don't know Boolean that well, but that seems crazy. That if you think that they might lose in the 4, then Flame Pimps has to be the favorite here, right?
I don't know. It's hard because I don't think I just don't think there's a clear favorite in any of these matches aside from the two.
Mhm.
Honestly, because Ghost is really good, but if what you said based on what you said about Taco Cat, I can't like not give him the edge. But I think Goose and Boozosaurus is going to be pretty close. I think Mako and Boolean is pretty close. Like I know like with PR, it's easy to give Mako the edge here, but I really think that Boolean's PR is not like is not like doesn't accurately reflect like his skill personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm biased. He's been on my pro team for 3 seasons now. But no, I stand by it. So,
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Yeah.
anyways, next match. Why don't we talk about Dad Legend versus IDK?
All right. So Dad Legend versus IDK. So far, we have one result. Your mom kid 3-1 Skittles. The other matches are Zabe versus Plant. Yellow Dart versus JR, which will be on stream this weekend. We have
Saturday, 9 p.m.
Dusharmo versus It's Me Mike V. Clarity versus Mighty Biz. This is an interesting one for sure. I mean,
Yeah, seems
you
like a
versus
pretty easy
versus
5-0.
Yellow Dart is kind of just like the rivalry that's going on in Silver.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Clarity versus Mighty Biz probably gonna be a good match. They both seem pretty close. I mean, their PRs are the same. I don't know how the skill levels match up.
Right.
But pretty good. Dusharmo in the 4, very strong player. He's way under PR'd for how good he actually is. And yeah, Zabe versus Plant's gonna be a good one as well.
Yeah, I just played Dusharmo in the 1 last week.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So like, I'm just confused at what he's doing in the 4 here, and he took 2 games off me. So
yeah,
dude, we were laughing our asses off in our hero team server because Desharmo and Mike we're all on the same team, and yet Desharmo's in the 1 in hero and Mike's in the 5 in hero, and I'm just like, how the hell does this happen?
Mm-hmm. I wish we could go in more in depth on all these things, but we are crunching for time right now.
All I will say is watch Yellow Dart and I. It's going to be a fun match. I think that's going to be a spectacle. Donde and Isocles can't wait to cast it. So,
what time are you guys playing?
9 p.m. Eastern
Oh,
time.
nice.
So I want to quickly at least mention the 2 other matches. We have Amber Flight Gaming versus Hot Zills. Amber Flight Gaming getting a team rework, essentially. We have Neji still in the 1. We brought in Itachi in the 2. We have Dragon Rider moving down to the 3. We have brought in Haster, and we still have myself down in the 5. And Zills changed their team up by 1 player. They added Jammies, who is playing in the 2. We still have Coles, Donde, Anfall, and Jim Fuller. Awesome.
I like both of these teams a lot.
Yeah, I like my team a lot. And I also like Zills. They are a good...
Neji Itachi is going to be a nasty combo. Dragon Rider in the 3, like that's going to be pretty powerful.
Our seeds are essentially pretty much locked for the season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because Itachi and Neji aren't close enough in PR to switch.
I mean, anything can happen, but yeah, Neji's PR is so
like above 700, right?
Neji has 709.
Yeah, Neji's 709 last season.
709 PR. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Neji is very hyped, has incredibly high PR. I faced him in Hero last week, and honestly he played very poorly. He kept evolving into bad minions, so you'll have to knock that streak.
Yeah. I heard about that. I heard about that in the Hero server. Don't worry.
Especially one of his evolutions was very generous to me.
Yeah. Shout outs to Generous Mummy.
I think for this match though, it's gonna be pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of these matches are actually like I guess it's hard to gauge because Coles versus Neji on paper, Neji should be favored, but Coles is no slouch.
Oh, Coles.
So I definitely think Coles could put up a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
Tachi versus Jammies. Jammies is a really good player. I feel like he gets very underrated, but Itachi's also in the 2, so that's kind of hard to ignore.
We have double 1-seat battles in the 1-2.
Yeah.
So,
however, the match I think is going to be the closest one,
Donde
and the toughest
Dragon
one to
Rider.
call, in my opinion, is going to be Dragon Rider versus Donde.
Yeah, that's a good.
That one is, in my opinion, extremely even, very close. Both of these players are 3 seeds who could easily play in the 2, and I think that they are going to bring this one to 5 games. I think Anvil's going to take it in the 4. Feesh, I'm hoping you start off. You get off to a good start.
Yeah,
and
better.
win one
Yeah,
of the
better
5.
start than my hero season. Sure.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, I did not. I did not play well.
No comment.
No, I didn't. I definitely didn't.
But that's Amberflight versus Hot Zilfs, and then we've got a Noyo team, the Meme Dream team, which is a Noyo team bringing back Dwyn, and new player a nice Jewish Owl, and the return of Inzi in the 1, with Catharsis and Totino's Pizza returning from last season, and then the Meme Dream team being Easy Bacon Clone, Interval, Yfair, and Well Played. The 3 through 5 I'm not really familiar with, but I think this one's going to be interesting because both these teams are kind of coming in without much, like, not people not knowing too much about them, not necessarily that
I do know
anticipated.
nice Jewish Owl. He is
Yeah,
not
nice Jewish Owl is insanely good.
No, I heard about that part. Yeah, I hear.
I've
From
heard-
what I'm gathering, a Noyo team is probably like a big sleeper team and going to be underestimated.
Yeah.
So I'm
It's
expecting
weird when
big
your
things.
4 seed is better than your 1 seed.
Yeah, I think that's
That's
this,
what I'm trying to
I
figure
think
out.
that
Why is he only 340?
I think that
I
I think Catharsis is going to end up in the 4 on this team with how good the other 2 players are. No, and no disrespect to Catharsis, he's a good player in his own right, but Dwyn is pretty much a 1 seed type player, and so is Nice Jewish Owl. And I have seen Yfair on ladder playing in like higher end ladder against somebody that I was spectating. So definitely a good player in the 4 as well. That'll be a
But how
really
is
good
Nice
matchup.
Jewish Owl's PR 340 then? That's what I'm not getting.
Probably finished.
He hit top 200 for the first time just last month, and I think it was after the registration
Yeah,
deadline.
last
of
month they
course
didn't
it
count for
was.
registration.
He had never done 11-star before. He was like Control Warrior Grinder last meta in Skullmance when it was like a real deck but pretty mediocre, and then it shot up to viable this meta, and he finally when the world needed him most, he answered its call.
Yeah. Cool.
I will always appreciate an Avatar: The Last Airbender reference, for the record.
Cool.
But that covers all of Legacy.
Yeah.
I realize we're an hour in, so we're going to try to pick things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But let's move on to Hero Series.
I'm going to start in the Orange Conference for Hero, where Hero's a lot nicer. There's only 2 matches to go over each week, because each team there is a bye. And I will be displaying that on the screen for both Hero and Pro.
We'll start with the top one of Tonk If You Are Corny versus ATL.
Yeah. So Tonk is a really good team. That's Justin's team. They 4-1'd my team last week, and our team is also no slouches, but Orange Conference is just insanely strong. Yeah, Justin versus Blue Spartan, C-Mac versus your mum Cat, Turtle versus Brushy, 9 Eyebrows versus Risen, and Maddie Ebbs against Skirt Reynolds. And Skirt Reynolds was just so under PR'd at 88 PR. Maddie Ebbs also is a 4 seed in Legacy, playing the 5 in Hero. A very good player. Probably could play the 3 in Legacy potentially. This is gonna be a pretty good one. I give the edge to Tonk, because they have, like, especially with Turtle playing in the 3. Turtle's a really good player.
Yeah, late breaking news is that you see the classes in for those because they were actually playing
Turtle 3-0
tonight.
Tuna.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is over.
There is a result. Yeah, the screenshots are not indicative.
Another victim.
Yeah, Turtles.
Don't get too close; it snaps.
F's in the chat for Tuna.
F's in the chat for Tuna. For Uncle Tuna.
For Uncle Brushy.
C-Max. Favorite.
C-Mac is the best lineup builder I know. Honestly, he's so
very
good. He'll have to recover from the Hunter nerfs, because he was another player who very much liked that deck.
Yeah,
I feel that. Yeah, I'm in a similar boat, but I don't know. We press on, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this match is going to be pretty exciting. Blue Spartan, of course, captaining this roster, so
he captains both the 18.
Curious to see how they do.
Yeah, let's see if they can prevent a 5-0, just like Feesh's team did last week.
And now Dark Side of Cthulhu is the team that has the bye this week, which means the other match going on is Servants of Yogg Saron versus A Gungan Us Among.
Oh, this team. Yeah, a
This
Gungan
is-
Asamung
yeah.
is
Jesus.
absolutely a gross team. Their 3 seed, in case you guys don't know, is a top 10 standard player. And then Dardar, who, undefeated in Legacy last season, hasn't
Hero.
lost this season yet because he hasn't played. And Avi in the 2 is amazing. Is really good. And then Scritch and Robocats rounding out the bottom. Neji,
For the record, Avi hasn't played anything less than the 1 seed for Hero or Legacy in like forever.
Yes.
So this is pretty huge.
Yeah, he just came off of a pretty successful test run too in
Yes.
playoffs, and I built a Gadgets and Auctioneer Miracle Mage with him last week. It's been a lot of fun. So
Awesome.
he's definitely got the deck building skills. Although Atomos in the 2 and Neji in the 1 is just insane at the same time.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, Neji and Atomos. When we were making this team, Atomos was the last person to join our team. He rounded out the team. We kind of built a bit bottom up with the intentions of still having a strong upper part. So yeah, I like our team. We're just in a conference with 2 other really strong teams. So this is gonna be a really tough conference for whoever plays this. Yeah, let's move. That's cover is orange. Move on over. Get there to purple conference. We have the first where we have
This
vote
is
of
my
some.
conference.
Yes, we have vote of some confidence. HeatShock's team versus Dad's Legend. I'll let HeatShock take this one.
This is my conference too.
Yeah,
I think our team is insane. I think
it is.
I'm
It is.
pretty optimistic that we're going to be able to make out of our conference. But I think our team opponents this week are pretty good. I know Icicles is having a good season. I ran into him, as I said earlier, a couple times at top 200, and he probably has a read on the kinds of things I might do. So a little scared there. But and Lotus in the 2, Ron just came back from a Hunter nerf. As good of a player as he is, I think he's going to struggle there, and we'll have to bring a good week for everyone else. So it could be tough, but
Yeah,
I have faith that we can pull it off.
sure. Your team is really good. When I saw this team, I was like, wow, that's 3 1 seeds. And Diamond had a really outstanding, Diamond had a pretty outstanding hero season last season, and Jim Philos is like, he's really nice value, low PR player. Dad Legend is also really well built.
Our matches were still very close, though. That's the thing. So
Yeah.
these guys are really good, but I think this conference is going to be very tight.
For sure.
Which match are we talking about right now? Does it need to be advanced on stream?
Vote of some confidence versus Dad Legend.
Okay, I think stream is a little behind.
I think it's possible that we end with 3 550 players.
I think so too. I think it's possible.
I can believe that.
Yeah. I think in this match, it's gonna be tough. I think Jim Philos needs to. I think Jim Philos is gonna be key to win over Sharkbait because Diamond versus Yellow Dart Yellow Dart's a really strong player, but I know Diamond is strong too. I would lean a bit more towards Dart probably. I think our hat over Starlax, and then as long as you or Ron gets it done, as long as you or Ron wins your match, I think your team.
I don't know the last time I've been swept in Hero. I think it's been a while.
Yeah.
Even if I lose, I think I'll put up some points.
Definitely, for sure. You did really good last season, 5-2. So I have no doubt that you'll play well. And then we have one more match, which is Baron Balance versus
Feet of Cthulhu.
Feet of Cthulhu. JR's team Tampams has the bye.
Yes, we do.
We do have a result. I believe it's on the. I don't think it's on the sheet, but Cherub got a 3-1 win over Cat. And so we have. I'll let one of you two one of the other people run down stuff. I don't want to hog all the mic.
With this one, you've got FBM2 versus Wild 9. I think FBM2 is definitely pretty favored. Same with Nails in the 2 against Adair. And then Pond versus Andy. Pond is easily a 2 seed, so him playing in the 3 is pretty strong. Chewbacca versus Swashmergler. I'm probably giving the edge to Shu. I think even though Fair and Balance is up right now, I think Feet of Cthulhu are going to end up taking this. They're a very strong looking team as well.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Seed of Cthulhu is really good.
There's been a lot of cats throughout THL history. Looking back, I don't think there's been just one with one word here. So I'm not familiar with him or her. I think a lot of
well now that Catman is gone and is now Ariana, Cat can be the new cat.
Still have RoboCats though.
RoboCats.
RoboCat's gonna be upset that I forgot about him in the chat.
Diamond's Alley Cats former team, and I think there was a Zoo Cat or something like that as well.
Something like that.
Zancat. Free Hong Kong went 2-5 in the 3 last year, so we'll certainly be looking to do a bit better this year. But yeah, as we mentioned, Nails in the 2. The fact that we've had the conversation earlier about him being maybe the toughest opponent for Darian in the 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now he's in the 2 seed, and here is pretty overpowered.
For sure.
And that just leaves the Teal Conference for Hero, which is also a pretty solid looking conference, I must say.
Yeah. Start with Ask HS versus Dab on them. Justin, why don't you go ahead and run through that one?
It's Dababa on them.
Yeah. Dab.
Yeah, I'm just very disappointed. I can't like this team because Dabs isn't on them with that name. But yeah, based up top for Dad on them, going against I think like currently number 6 on Americas right now, Mr. Python, something crazy like that. Definitely.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Mr. Python is Lyman.
He's on my pro team. You forgot to share that information.
Oh.
You have Draco Cat, who's I've believe he streams. Definitely seen the name around somewhere. Doing high things, going
very strong team
up against Boots, looking to capitalize on that Hearthstone Academy run in Legacy last year. Astral Pog, of course, in the 3, locking that down against Dr. Bomdy.
Dr. BOMD.
Dr. Bomdy.
He's an actual doctor, unlike
he is a real doctor. Yes.
And we have in the 4 Doublies against Duin, who has managed to stave off being a 3 seed in this series, at least for another season. And then lastly, Buse is somehow in the 5 here.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, what the hell, people?
Buse is way under PR'd in Hero.
No. He's not just well under PR. If you noticed, his PR in Legacy is double his PR in Hero.
Yeah. I mean, it also
I don't understand a lot of these numbers next to these people on both teams, honestly. But a little more on Dab on them. So I'd expect them to be, as I believe many people tipped them in preseason, to be a strong contender to the title. That seems with a good back.
I think we have 3 people whose PR is going to go way up with Base, Duin, and Views. Yeah. I mean, Based and Duin had showed no signs of slowing down last season, right?
Yeah.
No.
Views is shooting up there too. It's like, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't want to play them.
I mean, they were already a very intimidating roster last season, so I'm excited to see what they can do this season.
All I gotta say to my dear good friend is Booze 5 seed win.
Booze. Yeah, Booze is a great dude.
Also, remember, this is Astro Frog is Based's brother, so we've got a brother-sister THL team-up of sorts.
Yeah, this team was
that
built...
is not something to be underestimated.
This team was built around...
very dangerous.
This team was built around Astral and Duin. Pretty sure this team was pretty much built around Astral and Duin. And Base was going to play on it, so... Yeah, it's a really well-built team. Kind of taking a more dad legend approach.
Team from top to bottom, in my opinion. This is because there are plenty of teams that might be more top heavy, but this is a team where you're looking and you're like, wow, their lowest seed is Buse.
Yeah,
what the heck is going on right now?
For sure.
It'll definitely be interesting to see if they run up against the Agungan Usamung in like playoffs or something, because there's very different strategies on how to build your team.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'd be curious which one ends up being the stronger way to go.
Yeah.
We shall see. And the other match, and since F2L Black has the bye this week, the other match going on is Team No Pros Here versus Transfer Students. Now, Transfer Students is, I think they're pretty similar from last season, but they changed up their 1-2.
Or 2.
I think just their 2.
Their 2 seed is Jester. Yeah. Last season it was
They did a Bach for life. That's right.
Yeah, Alien Santa played on Transfer Students last season as a sub.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Transfer Students, the innovative strategy of we'll have no good players on our team.
I mean,
I'm just kidding. I've faced Bach for life on that.
They're 3-4. Like Chaser in the 5 is quite alarming. He is a 304 PR
Their
5
3 to
seed.
5 rotated a lot.
They did last
season.
season. They really did.
Yeah.
Like I played Chaser in the 3.
I don't think I've ever seen a team before with no one under 300. That's just insane.
Yeah, besides
I've
not to
seen
start,
before,
not
but
to
only
not to start a season, but
Yeah.
I'm also very new, so
To start, it has happened before.
Yeah.
It's just not a very common occurrence.
Gotcha.
But then, anyways, on the other side, we have the greatest Hearthstone player in history, especially when I throw to him Agent PWE, leading No Pros here, who had, of course, a very great season last season, and just poorly enough, I guess, of tailing off at the end, they're able to bring back much the same roster, or is it actually the entirely same roster?
I forget who was supposed to be in the 5 because Boolean is obviously subbing.
But
Wait,
Super
oh.
Murloc, it looks like.
I played
It's super
PWE
super
at
sub super
times.
Murloc.
Yeah,
Recently,
very
he's
good PR
very
man
good.
for them, to ensure they can get the team back this season and continue to dominate, I'd have to imagine.
For
Yeah.
sure, yeah, good team.
I mean, No Pros here for Hero is like both their Hero and Legacy teams are pretty consistent generally, as far as some of the people you see. You always see both PWE and Posca, of course.
Yeah.
Skittles is also generally on at least one of their teams, as you're seeing here. So, yeah, Posca knows how to pick his teams. He's a solid
The
player
same
and a
on the
solid
last
captain.
season that worked so well. It ain't broke.
Yeah, Posca knows what he's doing, and he's really shown that in multiple. So I think, yeah, Teal is still looking pretty good, pretty strong. So that covers Hero, which means all we're left with right now is Pro. And we're going to do a quick rundown of that. So are we going to start off Feesh with pink, or are we going to do black?
Black first.
All right, then.
Ooh, the scary conference.
The Black Conference has
so-
the Black Conference buy team is the Unknown. And we're gonna start off with Aeon versus Glockgora. We're just gonna run through them in absolute order, and yeah. So Justin did mention he had to leave now. So thank you, always just in time for coming on the show this week. Yeah, let's get going on these matches. Wait, oh, Justin's back.
Oh no, he's back.
Justin's back. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Had internet went out for a second.
Oh, I thought because I knew you said you were leaving at some point, so I was like, oh, he left.
Yeah, I think I can stay for a bit longer.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna quickly run through this. We got
Yeah.
Aeon and Glockgara. Aeon's only change is Neji Boston is not on the team anymore, and Donkey is now on the team. Same. So it's Arhat, Markshire, Donde, Risen, Donkey. Glockgara.
Donkey's very good.
Yeah, he's a
I can see
very
him
good
going
player.
up.
Yeah, and Pro is done differently with seeding, where no PR, so it's your record, and the captains kind of put together in order for the first week.
It
I would
often
think.
changes. It changes a
Exactly.
lot.
Yeah, it always
It'll-
changes a lot.
It fluctuates more and more as the season goes on because then records start to differentiate more and more,
Yes.
and that's really what creates
Speaking of tactical positioning, Snake Fall's getting fed to the wolves there in the 1.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah,
he's a
Snake Fall's-
I mean,
five seed? 5
He's
seed in
normally
one of the
5.
PR series.
Yeah, he's a 5.
I mean, I'm
seed in
excited to see how he
Legacy.
performs.
Yeah, I mean, I think him getting to play Ridiculous Hat would be a really good learning experience.
Yeah,
Also,
I mean,
now I see what happened, Justin. I got you confused with Dar being in Pro. That's what threw me.
but yeah, Snake Fods and Peanuts, I believe, are on the USFCA Hearthstone team who have done well
Nice.
past few seasons in TESPA.
Yep.
So they can definitely put it together for tournament runs.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I don't know much about Glockgora besides I know who Snake Fods is. I know of Peanuts, of NJO, but I don't know Kirix and I don't know Sakana what. But it looks like it's going to be an interesting matchup. I want to give the edge to Aeon just because I know more players, but I also know that like it could go either way. Pro is crazy.
Aeon's
Yeah.
done consistently well every season. So
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't seem like they really. I mean, Neji's a loss, and Donkey's a great placement. But
Yeah.
if the field got harder, they could have a hard season.
For sure. And this
We'll
field
see.
has gotten harder, and we'll see that as we go down.
Right.
Next
I mean-
match. Oh boy, look at this match.
This is crazy.
This match is awesome. It is it's one of the most hype rematches. This happened towards the end of last season. It is Bad to the Bone versus Hype Horizon, our
If
former
you're not
champ.
excited for this match, I don't
Ooh.
know what you're doing, honestly.
Bad to the
Like, this is-
Bone had Dardar replace. Dardar came in as a replacement from last season, and he stayed on the team.
Right. He replaced Satiros.
Satiros. Yes, he did.
And obviously, now Bad to the Bone is like just top to bottom. These guys are solid. They've got they've got Lotus Knight, they've got Adamos, they've got A2 Battleship, they've got Dardar Binks. Every single person here is like pretty much known for being a strong 1 seed.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is gonna be pretty nuts.
And then Hype Horizon, the returning champs, no changes to the roster. Cool Kid, Liquid Ox, McBannerface, Gamer RVG, and D Money. Most of those people, I believe, one of the Dream Hacks last season, during the last season.
And honestly, all these matchups you could see in a hypothetical universe based on HSE Sports' future plans. You could see them as matches in a Masters tour or something.
Oh yeah, all of you guys, all of these players would have a chance for.
Yeah,
I think actually the majority of them have made Masters tours.
Yeah, I think they have.
Right. But what's funny about this though is that like both of these teams are like, they kind of represent one side of the new season of Pro. All pretty well established players within THL, all like have played before and have shown like they're teams that are to definitely be highly anticipated this season. And yet there's still plenty of teams over here that like are newer and still kind of make you think, okay, this could be pretty nuts. So
gonna be in the hype series. I'm excited to see how it plays out. Next up, we have 2 new teams. With some definitely some new faces. I recognize some of these people though. We got Cirque du Soul Fragment versus Illini Esports. Illini Esports is the same people who did Team Trees. So matchups are Fanboy HS versus Black Swan, Clone versus Tiger, Easy Bake versus Vampire Nighthawk, Ray C versus Drab Dude, and we've got the Gaian versus Trito. A lot of the players in Cirque du Soul Fragment, I believe, are have played in Spirant before.
Aspirant.
Yeah, Aspirant. Yeah, they're all, I would assume they're all strong players.
Racy's good. I mean, he's a streamer. Played him a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have a bunch of, as you mentioned, good players from Aspirant, like 1 and 2 seeds from Hero and Legacy on one side, Spike in like a Racy and a Fanboy, and on the other side you have a Legacy team.
Pretty much, it's part of the players from the Legacy
players
team.
Different.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with those different players, so maybe they can make a difference. But I wouldn't be feeling all that great if I'm a line at Esports. I know they've done well in TESPA this past season.
The thing about college teams is, I mean, you guys probably saw this with WashU, but how busy school is a big factor on what you can do as a team.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think there'll be someone to watch fluctuate, like maybe do really well during breaks and struggle a little more during classes. So maybe they'll have a strong opening over the.
This is a nice time for these players then, because there's a break.
Yeah. So I think if they start off strong, they could do well. If they don't, it might be hard to catch up.
Yeah, for sure.
And TESPA as well is a pretty different format when you have, it's still team-based, but for those not familiar, you have 3 players, 1 mouse, 1 game. So all trying to specialize and spike to combine your efforts. But that can sometimes leading to having the worser players on your team getting carried a little bit, depending on your team comp. Where if they're suddenly playing in THL, having to fend for their own, not having a stronger player to autopilot some of the decisions for them, it can be a little bit more difficult. But then again, I'm not familiar with the Illini guys. Maybe they are, because there obviously are some TESPA teams where they just really are stacked from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Right. It's a question. There are some TESPA teams, like I know Typhoons, that have done really well. They've made playoffs, but they're just carried by 1 player who is basically makes all of the decisions and plays.
Yeah.
I mean, the other people are more like spectators.
For
and then there are teams that
they get scholarship money if he wins too.
Yeah.
Pretty high. Next match we have a very hype match. I think this match is hype. We've got Diamond's team for the boys going up against Neji Boston's team, Yashiraj's Clown College. We've got for the boys, I believe, is almost completely returning, and they have added Super Chicken, and I don't really remember who is no longer on for the boys, but it's Buck Nasty, German Shep, Dabs, Fasho, and Super Chicken against Yashiraj's Clown College, which is Neji Boston, FBM2, Ailes, Lumble, and Kalis Luna. And Neji has told me that the other two players, Lumble and Luna, are both extremely high, are like pretty high legend players on NA. And I know that the other three are really good.
I mean, FBM2 in the 2 seed is just crazy to think about because we know he was like one of the best 1 seeds last season and carried his team there.
Yeah, and he's got
that's only somewhat true, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean the rest is. I mean he's such a standout performer within his team.
Yeah, he was. I don't know. It's just he was so good, but at the same time, I didn't like. I felt like everybody on the team was doing well to get like a decent amount of points. That we were able to have such a strong shot at playoffs despite our mediocre match record.
For sure.
Right. I mean, if the other teammates had just lost every time, then they wouldn't have really been a team.
Right.
But FBM was a really standout for me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
absolutely.
And so I know he's good.
Mm-hmm.
They're throwing shade on his former teammate there. You saying did you carry FBM last season?
No, not at all. I mean,
no, JR didn't play.
Next episode of Tavern Talk.
JR only captain.
Reggie confirmed overrated by his own teammate.
No, I mean I love Reggie. He knows that, but it was I guess it's like I felt like it was less about him carrying us and more like he kind of helped push us forward, because I think everybody started to do a little bit better when he stepped in and really like gave some good insight and deck building advice or lineup building advice. So,
and we can't leave out the fact that for the boys was extremely strong last season, and they've probably only gotten better.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes them so good is they have good team chemistry. Like I was in another Diamond team, and we talked over replays last season, and like I think they bring their best every single week to THL. Like they actually look at what opponents are bringing, and they really try and exploit on that and build on that. And I don't know if that's the case for every single team. Like some teams are just good players who show up. And I think that For the Boys is not one of those teams, and I think they're going to do really well again.
Yeah, I agree the same. And pro playoffs are actually going to have 8 teams this.
Two conferences. No, it's going to be 4 from each, 100%. It's still, once with 18, once you get past like the 16 team mark, it's going to be 4 teams from each.
Awesome.
No question. And then the last 2 matches, we'll try to get through these a little quicker, are Swagoid Red versus Swagoid Black, which is of course, two teams under the Swagoid name.
Wow, the good Swagoid team against the bad Swagoid team.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's kind of a mix.
Obviously, we know which one I'm referring to.
I'm assuming you're referring to Black.
Yeah, I don't think
Black is nuts. Black's team is nuts. Cookie Von, Smolstar, Jared Pullet, Lymphosis, and
Red should be
Audrey.
slept on too much. That's all.
Definitely not.
I actually had not looked at the rosters. I just saw the names and said that to stir the pot a little.
Okay, that's actually pretty clever.
Because those who don't know Edelweiss, such a good player.
She's very good.
She's a very good player.
She has not
No
played THL
Glocko.
in
No
years,
Glocko
but
is a
she's
1
really
seed
good.
in Legacy. Essentially, he swaps 1 and 2 with Agent. I don't know Brasky, Revi, and Dr. Chisel. I've heard them say nothing but great things about Brasky, though.
So Brasky is a solid player. I wouldn't consider him like top like 1-2 seed material, but he's still a solid player. But more importantly, he's just one of the nicest people you will ever meet, and he's been one of the greatest contributors to THL content over its run.
And that truly is what wins games of Hearthstone in THL.
Well, helps team. So it can help other people play better.
Also, Brasky has the type of voice that you just want to have, like for casting purposes. He's got such a nice, smooth voice. I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be I think this is gonna be a bloodbath series. I would give the edge to Sugoi Black, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Sugoi Red also comes out swinging. So.
Yeah. And then the last one might be the most interesting match of them all, which is attack mode versus. Or did we already talk about
pink.
That?
That's pink.
Now we're moving to pinks. Now we're moving to pink.
Oh, okay. It's on the black side by
mistake. Did I do that? Then. No, I didn't. No.
No. It's not you. It's the website.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go figure. But pink, we're starting off with attack mode versus poem locked and loaded.
I like Poem Locked and Loaded. Great name.
I mean, it's a nice name. I will give
Yeah,
it
I
that.
don't
give
know
him
most
that.
of these players though. I
Yeah,
have to.
I only know of Bulldozer.
Okay.
I know Brian. Brian's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good.
Brian's
Again, I
a
don't know some
well-known good
players.
player. Necra. I want to say I know who. I want to say it's.
I know Necra. I know
Yeah,
Flame
she's
Killer.
really good. Valera Light is also a very good player. Like those two are fair. Those two are pretty dang good. Brian, of course, and then I don't know much about Poem Block's team. I think Bulldoze is a good player though.
Yeah.
From what I might have seen him playing on ladder against people.
I haven't run into hardly any of these guys on ladder before,
Mm-hmm.
which is really weird. But
Yeah.
so either they're better or worse than me, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, can ATK win without best players in their org like Rami and Ego? It's a pretty deep org. They still have 5 really good players there. So
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just sad that Ego's not playing in Pro this season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, wasn't he playing
cool
on?
To see him here,
He was playing on Bad to the Bone last season, wasn't he?
I
Or
don't
was he
believe
not?
know if he played the whole season. I think he might have played a couple matches. I know the season
Yeah.
before that he was on Bad to the Bone.
Yeah.
in 2
I was
seasons.
gonna say. Oh, okay, yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I would love to see him back in Pro, but
I'm
Can't
sure he's
always
busy with streaming and everything else. Like his stream has really grown since he was in THL.
that's
so.
true.
For sure.
Now, of course, we have the next match is Corrupted Clown Fiesta versus F2L, Saku's team versus Icon's team. F2L being they've definitely changed things up quite a bit as we've seen. Now their team is made the only returning players from the last season's roster are Berserk and Rescue Wabbit,
Hmm.
and they've added in Snake, who has played with the team before. He's been on one of their championship rosters, but he wasn't. He didn't play with them last season. Ariana 20, who we talked about before, and then Shay Magician, who I have no knowledge about whatsoever.
Chem Magician, same player.
Chem Magician, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Icon has been talking a lot of smack, and I believe some of the pro and general chats about this team. And
yeah.
looking at the roster
Icon
for good
beats-
reason.
Icon beats two from. He's a
That's
Good
that's
dude.
just kind of Icon at this
mean,
point.
yeah.
Cam Magician is the Mexican around Mexico wants to be in terms of Hearthstone
Yeah.
ability.
That's
Uh,
fair.
Yeah.
And then you have Ariana 20, who's apparently God's gift to Hearthstone in the past few months with the amount of top 50, top 100 she's been seeing the ladder.
Yeah, she's
to go
really
with,
hit her stride. Apparently,
Yeah.
to go with Berserk, Snake, Rescue Wabbit, Cashed, and Tespa.
Berserk was one game away from being a GM. So
Yeah.
he was. Yes,
that's how
the
good
Ego
Berserk is.
Dardar Berserk triage
Yes.
of America's failure. To
I
make the top 8.
know. My God.
Mm-hmm.
But at least Rami still gets to be a GM.
Yay.
But then on the other side, you got Tweak. So there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, these
Corrupted
guys
Cloud
are
Fiesta's
all-
pretty much the same roster this time around.
And these
It's
guys are all
Wendor,
in-
Yoxter, Corden, Phoenix, and Tweak.
Yeah, these guys are all like IRL friends. They're not necessarily trying to be the most competitive team, but
No,
have some fun and play some Hearthstone together. I
But that's the
love
thing.
I love Corridon. Corridon, I've had the joy of casting with him a lot. Phoenix is a great dude. I believe Yoxter and Wangor are brothers. And then then there's Tweet.
do not know.
Yeah, I believe they're
That's a good
brothers.
question.
Yeah.
All I know is like this is a team that's like they're consistent about like they come to pro, they don't care too much about how well they do. They're just all about having fun and getting some good experience, and I respect the hell out of them for
And
it.
they've
I think
and
they
some
really
of them
bring a positive vibe from every time I've interacted with them. It's been really great.
yeah, and they
I mean,
and
it helps
two-
that they're under Saku.
yeah.
Mhm.
And Corridon and Phoenix have actually branched into Legacy
Yes,
as
they
four
did
as
for the
4
first
seeds.
time.
So
Yep,
out for them.
which you wouldn't expect because I think they're definitely better than 4 seeds.
I think
But that's
Phoenix
just my
has a
opinion.
high PR. He's just on a team with PR distribution. Next we
Was he one
have
of the 400 teams where he had like 400 PR and was like up there?
probably not 100% sure.
Have to look.
Next team, just to keep things faster, we have Due Process versus NPH.
Yeah,
This is JR's team. It is Goose, Mr. Python, Boolean, Dr. BOMD, and Rice Bowl. With I believe Rice Bowl replacing FBM2.
correct.
We have on the other side. We have Posca. We have Agent PWE. We have Skittles, Your Mumkhead, and Based. Based is on NP. That's really good. Posca has already Lost 3-1 to Goose this week. A good start for Goose and good start for Due Process this season. They came
Boolean and Skittle should be
points
playing right
like
now.
1 or 2 points short of actually a playoffs last season. So I expect to see them putting up a good fight.
1 point. It
Yep.
was 1 point.
Wow.
And MPH is also like a team that's pretty much an amalgam of their other 2 teams, and then they added 550 PR insane player in Base Ink.
Yep.
So
Yeah, based
team
on the
looks
5
good.
seems, it's something I'm expecting to see changed.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just
I guess
week one.
coming in from without the pro background makes sense to start there, but
Yeah,
I
and Base
definitely think she's strong.
Base played on Canadian Clown Fiesta last. No, she played Base played on some team. She subbed for a team.
Yeah, she subbed for I think it was Saku's team.
Yeah,
actually.
it was CCF. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean this looks like a good matchup.
And that leaves our final match being Team Faction versus the Tap Washers
There's
Heat
2 more.
Shock's team.
They
Faction
can probably
versus
move on.
Yeah. Well, I'm playing.
Oh, sorry, you're right. There is one more.
Yeah, we have Faction and Top Washers. Tap Washers is HeatShock.
Yeah, I'm playing Unlimited, and then CMAX playing Harash, MMW's playing Flying Kraken, Bill's playing Tonberry Blue, and Ufrik's playing Altaruski. I think that these guys are streamers, or
Yes, so I know I am good friends with Tonberry. He's a he really fluctuates on ladder a lot, but if he kind of just sticks to like what he's good at, Ton's a top 200, top 300,
Number
200
of times
player.
Tonberry Blue has beaten me on ladder with a meme priest deck is too dang high. Like I
Yeah,
swear my
he loves his
overall
meme.
lifetime
He
record
loves
against
his
him.
meme priest decks.
I swear my lifetime record against him is like 10%, and he's never beaten me with like a deck of 30 cards that I knew.
Yeah, so yeah,
it sounds
fair.
like they have a very similar spirit to how we're going to approach this season. Then,
yeah, because they are Faction is they're a group of I don't know if Unlimited also streams, but I know Harash, Kraken, Ton, and Walter Ruski all stream. Unlimited Power have played in Wild last season. That's how I know him. And Tap Washer's just really good. MMW came, I believe, in top 3 in the 5th year anniversary tournament. HeatShock, insane, obviously. CMAC, very good as well. Greetings, and Bill Snyder and Ufric also good. Super
Bill
good
Snyder
team.
has his work cut out from this week. I mean, I'm sure Tonberry Blue is a pretty good pro player as well. But if he were ever to play a closed deck list format like Legacy or Hero, I don't think there's anyone else I could match up with that I'd be more scared against.
Yeah.
like throwing Yarla, throwing Glory, nah, I'd take them any day over Tonberry Blue.
Yikes.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, Ton's just a solid player. I mean, yeah, he messed around with me priest decks, but he's a very good player in general. For whenever I see him switching decks around and doing.
What I will say about Ufric is that he specifically requested to be in the 5, even though we agree that he probably doesn't need to start there.
Yeah.
But so he's pretty dangerous. I think he just didn't want to play the strongest opponents. And MMW, he got second at the tournament.
Yes. Oh, he got second. Yeah,
That's right.
He beat beat Neji final.
Yeah. He has the most serious mindset, I would say, on our team going into this. So he's definitely dangerous.
Awesome. We have one last one to go over, and that is team with the best name in pro. Don't at me. Popeye Spicy Chicken Sandwich. Oh, great name. This is versus Sushi Rats. We have just a combination of players I'm not 100% sure I know besides Myanodon, Zabe, who are who are on Dad Legends Legacy Championship team last season. It's Lightning, Mick, Bobby X, Myanodon, Zabe on one side, and Hickett,
Mick,
Griff, Sprinkle, Money Pockets, and Dead Snoop in the for Sushi.
So Mick and Bobby EX I'm very familiar with. Bobby EX has been around in the scene for a very long time. Mick I'm familiar with. He's part of Team Crescent, just like Zabe. So
also need
I'm assuming that's
also
like
need to
how
mention
they,
that there's a sub. Also need to mention that Lightning has a sub named Wet Goose,
who I'm not yet convinced isn't just Goose. on a different account,
Well,
but you know.
they're very different. Wet Goose is very, very good.
saw
Lightning also.
Wow, throwing shade at my teammate.
Lightning, I believe, it went 8-1 or 9-1 at one of the Masters tours with
Okay.
the GM if he lived in any region but Europe.
Okay.
And Wet Goose has qualified through ladder through every Masters tour that he's wanted to.
Damn.
Bobby
That's
X, I think, was a HCT grinder
Mhm.
back in the old competitive system.
Mhm.
I think he's on my friends list. He's a regularly high legend. I mean, this team's just so stacked.
Yeah. That's
When
expected.
Mayan's your worst player, you
Yeah,
got a lot of good things going for you.
That's
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
yeah.
I played Zabe last season in the 1 seed, I remember. And
The other
he's a good player. And the fact that he's not anywhere near the 1 seed is terrifying.
Mhm.
I mean, Zabe went, I think, like 7-3 in pro last season, or 7-4, despite playing the game virtually not at all. I think he high rolled quite a number of people, yourself included. But I've been told, my insider info is that he is playing and enjoying the game again. So
Yeah.
a Zabe that's trying is very scary for
that's
the rest of the
scary.
league.
Yeah.
It's funny that he wasn't really playing much last season, despite the fact that his team ended up winning all of Legacy.
Yeah.
That's kind of fascinating. I had no
The
idea.
bronze 10 BM really got inside the opponent's mentals when queuing up for the match, I think.
Mhm.
And on the other side, Sushi Rats, I believe that's at least 4 of them I recognize from Tespa, from Miami's team.
Oh, gotcha.
So, I mean, they're a team. I don't like their odds this week. I don't think any one of them has been to a professional Hearthstone tournament before, where you're looking at the on the other side of the matchup table here, you could say that's not exactly true for the other team. So.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's.
I think that kind of sums everything up then.
Yeah, and that's all the matches for the week. Apologies, I'm running a bit long to our 2 guests. We tried to keep this as short as possible, but between restarts, and trying to have to get everything working correctly, we've gotten there in the end. We will do our best to sync the week. Even though we are actually adding we're adding another series.
We're
Which
gonna
is
figure something out.
Wild is starting next week. And we'll go over that as well. So thank you everybody for watching. Make sure to tune in tomorrow if we have any matches for Thursday Throwdown. That will probably start at 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern. Friday we have a Wild Series team reveal and award show that will probably be at 9 p.m. Eastern. On Saturday we have Saturday and Sunday we have School Stone matches. Will be taking place at different times. However, this weekend I believe we have a 10:30. I believe we have like a 10:30 a.m. match Eastern. That I will be commentating with somebody else, and Lotus will be opping. I don't have the match in front of me. On Saturday night, we have JR versus Yellow Dart, as well as, I believe, one other match on Salty Saturday. That will begin at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then Sunday, there is Sunday Showdown, starting at 8 Eastern. And those have varying, times will vary, casting will vary as well. Saku will be opping for Thursday and Thursday and Sunday. Lotus and Donde opping on Saturday, Sunday, Saturday night for Donde. So if you want to get your match streamed, go talk to those people. Thank you, HeatShock and Justin.
Yeah, thank you guys both for
fun. I've never done anything like this before, but it was great to be here.
You were both of you were fantastic. I
really wanted to hear from HeatShock. What's your favorite definition of your username?
Yeah, we'll go over that.
Oh my!
My favorite definition is the genetic modification of bacteria process. I've done that before, so it's the one I can relate to the most.
Damn.
But, my name does mean several different things in biology, which is part of the joke.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah.
Ha! I get it.
Yep. And so
I got that reference.
I'll do like one question for Justin, and that is: are your hot takes based entirely upon your advice from YepBot? That is from Nice.
No. I believe I teased the chat a little bit about my time power
Oh, yeah.
index, but then I forgot to
Sure.
actually use it in chat in rankings today. So we'll have to
Mhm.
save that for a future week.
Yeah.
But no, it is sadly not based on YetBot. For those who don't know, YetBot is a Discord bot. It's actually really cool. It's an advanced AI program using NLP to create an artificially intelligent machine learning solution to process language naturally using linguistics and big data to simulate flipping a coin to return yes or no when you ask it a question.
Yep.
So you can give it any questions, and it will tell you yes or no.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, my hot takes are not based on that.
Then
That would be fun though if it was like that, wouldn't it be?
yeah,
Like impractical, but still fun.
for sure. And then Diamond also asks for both of you, how was or has your experience in TESPA been? Your favorite season is, and what had, I don't know what the end is supposed to say and what has been like now, but yeah, favorite season, your experiences in TESPA.
I would say my experience in TESPA has been good, but not as good as THL. And that my favorite season was the one with the even and odd decks, because that was when I met Valdis and Dr. Pyro and ESL
Nice.
Glotka. And
Oh, nice.
I just
Oh,
like,
that's
because
good stuff.
it's when I met everybody, so that was a fun season.
Do you remember what semester that was? What year?
Oh, that was
2018.
it was before, it was like when Even Lock was good.
Spring 2018
It was
when
fall. It was fall.
fall,
It was fall,
2018.
yeah. After which?
Yeah. That
Gotcha.
was Rosticon's Rumble, I think.
Roscon's Rumble. Oh yeah, fall 2018. Yeah. Yeah, for me, I don't know. It's cool to get paid if you are good. So I probably like it more than THL because of that.
That's fair.
Favorite season? Yeah, it's a little more, definitely a little more scuffed at times, and partly because of the money. There's a lot more people playing, and sometimes the cuts are a lot greater. Where THL's, it's like you're decently enough, you make playoffs. If you do each week decently enough, whatever in playoffs, you can make it to the next round. Where in TESPA, like regionals is always a crazy experience when you gotta go like 4-1 or 5-1 or 6-1 to progress against some very other good teams as well, which is just like no one can sustain that win rate for the long term. I think Monsanto and Pelletier, when they were in college, played 2 semesters and never got through regionals. Eddie played for 3 semesters and only got through it once. The year that the semester he was with Diamond.
Diamond carried Eddie.
Won it all, right?
Yep. Yeah, Diamond carry.
I'm proud to say I am 5 out of 6 on regionals.
Nice.
But yeah, it's
getting through.
Yeah. But it's like it definitely feels bad when it's like you lose like one match in the playoffs. And I don't think it's as skill testing as THL is, honestly, because you really need a whole good team instead of just one person. So, and the sense of community in THL is just amazing. You don't really get that in TESPA, I feel. It's just so great to be here.
I think that's one of the things that, for me at least, has kept me playing in THL for so long. Community, like I like Hearthstone in general, but THL is like the sort of thing that makes me want to like continue to invest the game, continue to get better. You know,